Hello everyone, good morning, and it's good to have you here, right? From wherever you are joining us from all over the world, and maybe this is your first time or you have been part of us since the inception of all of this, right? I'm really excited to have you here because every time we gather here, I'm always excited about what this means in time and what this really means in our lives because this is what I believe, and maybe this is what you also believe that He that freely gave us Jesus Christ, if Jesus could leave heaven to come and die on earth, I believe that with Jesus Christ, He freely also gave us all things, including direction, including purpose, including how to live our lives. Talk about vision and talk about meaning in life. I really believe that with Jesus, He really gave us all things. And this is what I like to think, and maybe you should also think about it, is that what if Jesus was alive in 2022? Do you really think Jesus will struggle? Do you think Jesus will not be successful? Do you think Jesus will not be prosperous? Do you think Jesus will not maximize potential? You can't think about that, right? So I like to believe that, and I would love to know that, and I also know that God is not partial and God is not a respecter of person. So if Jesus would be all of that, be successful in all of those, if he was in 2022, it's not because of who he is as a person or how partial God would have been towards him. It's because of how he would have lived his life. So when we gather around this today, is that we learn together and we ask Jesus, how would you approach issues in our life that are relating to us? And he can guide us straight and he can say to us that, you know what, guys, do it this way. You know what, guys, I will approach it this way. And you know what we are sure of is that every time we do what it says that he really should do, and every time we follow in his footsteps of what he would have done, we will have the result that he will have. And we will be blessed, we'll be prosperous, we'll be successful, have a happy home, have a happy job, and have all that God has set out for us to have. I'm really pumped about it, right? So every time I'm here, every time I'm talking, every time I'm listening and I'm in church, reading Bible, I'm excited, right? It's all about this. And on that note, I would like to welcome you to GOG. It's really amazing. Samaria, right? We have been doing Welcome to Samaria in case you did not follow last week. I will encourage you to go back and listen to this. But yeah, it has been awesome last week. And this week again, I promise you it's going to be one of the best things that you have ever made the decision to do this weekend is to be here and listen to this. But right about now, I'm going to be in John chapter 4. And I'm going to continue the reading from John chapter 4. So you want to listen through, give me the next 27 or 28 minutes of your time, and I promise you, you will be better off out of it. So let's go. I'll be in John chapter 4. Let's do that. Okay, John chapter 4 and John chapter 4. Where is my John chapter 4? Okay. I'll be in chapter 10. Okay, chapter 9. I'll start from chapter 4, verse 9. It says, Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh a drink of me, which is a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knowest the gift of God, and who is it that says to you, Give me water to drink? Thou would ask, and he will give you the waters of living waters. The woman says unto him, You don't have anything to take water from. How well is the deep? Right? And so today, really, I want to continue on what we have been doing about. But you know what? Today we're going to be speaking on something quite different. Maybe for the topic today, it's going to be hope alive. Hope alive. And right about now, I will pray together if that is fine with you. So spread out your hands wherever you are. Let's pray that God will speak to us, right? So dear God, we thank you. So grateful for all you do and all that you mean and all that you represent. Lord, thank you for speaking to us. And we ask today again that God, the word will be so simple that we understand, yet so profound that it will change our word. We ask that by the teaching of your word and by the supply of the Spirit, everyone is strengthened, everyone is edified, and everyone is comforted. Reach us in a way that only you can. Our words, our examples are word of wisdom, they are word of knowledge, and we speak practically and real it into our lives in Jesus' name. And all of us said, Amen, 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 Amen. Really excited. Hope alive. Hope alive. Right. And so, beautiful stuff is that I was minutes apart from maybe thinking about all of this and how that this really makes and things like that. And maybe at the start, I wanted to ask you that when you hear the word hope, what does it really sound in your heart, right? Because I think so many times hope is synonym with the word chaos, right? Because every time we hear the word hope, then it's like there's something happening at this, right? That in that moment we are like, I need something, and so we have like a hope towards something that is happening. And so I want to like ask you, like, what do you really think of chaos, right? What do you think of crisis? What do you think of turbulence in life? And so, and maybe it depends really. Like where you are now, you can try this out. Ask someone if you are listening to this with someone. Just ask the person that what do you think of chaos or what do you think of trouble. And one thing you find out is that it depends really on how creative both of you are. Right? For someone, maybe chaos and crisis it looks like say like a World War II. alright, or in World War III. And so for someone else, maybe like chaos looks like zombies coming all over the world and eating up everybody. Maybe it depends on how imaginative every one of us is. Or maybe for you, chaos almost looks like your relationship. You are like, if there's a definition of really of chaos, it looks like my relationship. It's messy right now. Myself and my boyfriend, and myself and my husband are having quite a difficult time. Or maybe it looks like your job, like having to work inside the rain, and you feel like, you know what, working is a scam, even education is a scam and stuff like that. And truth, and maybe thinking about crisis and turbulence, and maybe for me, one of the things that I think I relate much with is the academic sector of Nigeria, right? Basically, you talk about strikes, not never ending strikes, where people get to school at the age of 22 and maybe they graduate at the age of 29 or 28, right? Talk about the medicine students, or maybe talk about the law students, and prolonged days, strikes that have no end, right? And so you talk about chaos, maybe you think about even working hard in school to get a grade and the lecturer not giving you that grade because of A belongs to God and B belongs to him, and so many other things that we get to hear. And maybe that really sounds like chaos for you, or maybe truth is chaos really determines on how what you are passing through and what really is big to you, right? And I like to think about this, that chaos really, or maybe crisis really looks like big stuff or small stuff, but I like to think about it that it depends on what you are passing through. And so if someone walks up to you and says that I have a crisis, right, and you say to him that what happened, and he says my phone is broken, then maybe you can look at him and you can say you don't have any crisis, your phone is broken, you don't know anything, the days that we are working there was no crisis. Truth is that might be true, but what you don't know about the phone is that maybe that is the source of income. Maybe that's the phone that he uses for his source of income, right? That is where he's working from. Or maybe like a system, that is where he's working from. That is what is doing his business from, doing his transaction for. So what truly is it is that sometimes what looks like crisis to you, like this is a crisis, there's something that's happening quite big, compared to what someone else is passing through, might not really necessarily be crisis, right? And so that's what encourages all of us to be what we call emphatic in our days. Because truth is this, people are passing through quite a lot of things. And the fact that someone is not telling you something does not mean that he's not passing through it. So the least we can do as individuals is to be understanding, right? The fact that something does not look like what you are passing through, or maybe you think it's not as big as what you are passing through, does not mean that it's not as disturbing as it is for you, right? Or maybe like as that thing is for you and stuff like that. But I really think of crisis, and maybe one thing that I can identify with crisis is maybe being a Mario fan, right? Or being an Arsenal fan. Because legit, believe me, those people just love crisis, right? They just love to pick crisis in their life that maybe we'll never get to an end. But for whatever reason they want to do that, I think it's fine. They can do all that they want to do. But I really think about it, and I remember I was in the office on Tuesday and I was seeing this match with Arsenal played, and I think one of my colleagues was with me, an Arsenal fan. And this guy was like venting, and this guy was like fuming, and I was like, wait, did you just choose to be unhappy in life and stuff like that? But people make funny decisions. And maybe right from my days, I love football, right? And maybe let me walk you through that in a very short time. Maybe right from my days on campus. No, when I was in secondary school, I remember this story. So I remember one of these days there was this match 2012, Chelsea versus Barcelona, and we all went to go and so I studied in a boarding house, and so I remember having to jump the fence to go and see this match. And so we used to have this like compartment, like we have this agreement with the man, the only if you watch football, like the view center manager, like we have this agreement with him where it's like he has a room where he keeps us. And funny thing is that our house master also comes to watch football there. So maybe you know where this story is going already, but I bet you don't. Right? So this man just has like a room where he keeps us, and he has like a room where he keeps the house master. We never actually meet, so we have like a door we follow back to the hostel, and he has like a door that he takes his own bike and stuff. And I just don't know what devil entered this man that day, right? We were already in that room seated and stuff like that, and so this man just, I don't know what happened to him. You know, when someone wants to do good and that good becomes bad, right? So I have like a first-hand experience. So you can just legit went to go and meet the house master, like, and went to tell him that, you know what, at good evening, sir. Hey, thank you. So, but there's one thing is happening is that there are some of your students that are here that come to me and that watch football, and they love football. They are not bad people. They actually are good people. They love football, and who knows? Maybe this one will become another Messi because you like Messi and stuff like that. So, I want to plead with you that when they get back to when you get back to the state, don't beat them. Don't even say anything to them. Let's encourage our future stars that are rising. In his mind, he thought he was doing us good, alright? Maybe you also thought he was doing good. But what he did not realize, what he did not know is that at halftime, the housemaster left, went back to the hostel, then counted everybody and numbered all of them. So, showing up with the hostel that night, people were just asking, what's your number? And you're like, what number? We understood on the assembly ground with Kane, right? So I think I've earned my status to say I'm a Chelsea fan, right? I think I've earned my status to say I love football. But you know what? As much as I love football, maybe you are thinking about it and you ask like what does cause concerns me with football and stuff like that. Just stay with me, right? Just I still have 20 more minutes and I'm going somewhere. So just flow with me. You really will get what I'm saying, all of this to say, right? And so as much as I love football, maybe there's one thing about football that I really don't like, right? Is the fact that I'm in Nigeria seated and 11 people in UK are deciding my emotions, what I'll be feeling in like 90 minutes, right? And maybe like 30 minutes after the 90 of the match. And sometimes, really, guys, I can take the fact that I showed up on the field and I played football and I gave my best and I lost the match. I can take that and sit in my room and I can tell myself that Bolaji, you know what, you gave your best. BJ, you know what, you showed up, you did all that you could do. I can really take that because I gave my best. I studied and maybe I did not pass. I can take that. But you know what I find difficult to take is the fact that one guy just kept on missing chances and chances and chances. And suddenly, because he kept on missing chances, then here I am losing the game. I will never really understand that because I feel like the least you can do is to score, right? This is tapping yourself and the keeper, yourself in the empty post. Just score. And you will lose a goal. Then there will be these Liverpool fans and Man U fans that are going to come and drag me because you were just misbehaving. Really, it really can get frustrating. Just score. Just score. Just do what you're paid to do and score. Well, as I really think about it today, and thinking about all that we've talking about and hope alive and crisis and turbulence and stuff like that, I'm really reminded of this football story, like in the book of John chapter 4, and where there's this particular woman that is called a Samaritan. I want to do like a brief story for you about all of that means really in time, because I really think that so many times, like I said last week, I wanted to name this series Welcome Home, because so many times Samaria is home for us. I know we think about Samaria, we think like, you know what, this woman is strange for us, but maybe this woman is not strange from you. Maybe this woman is you. Maybe this woman is me. Maybe this woman is our society. It's our generation. And maybe we can learn one or two things from the life of this woman that we can apply to our lives. And when we do that, what we have is we will be able to live the way Jesus would have lived. And if we can live the way Jesus would have lived, remember, we have the result Jesus would have had. And if we have the result Jesus would have, that's like, wow, that's like a jackpot. So let me take you on the journey. Think about being born, right? Before you even done anything, you were just given birth to, and suddenly you became a Samaritan. Maybe you're hearing the word Samaritan and you're wondering, what is a Samaritan? Let me run into a brief story. After that, Abraham gave birth to Isaac and Esau, and Isaac gave birth and stuff like that, right? Then you know this story about how that Jacob gave birth to 12 children, right? Who became the 12 fathers of Israel. Now maybe you can name them. You can number Joseph, Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Benjamin, and all of them, right? How that the 12 of them became the founding fathers of Israel. So you know David, right? Right. So yeah, David gave birth to his son, and the name of the son is, you guessed right, Solomon. And so Solomon was king after David, and Solomon did quite a lot of beautiful things. That Solomon that you got to know that the Bible says that was wise, right? But towards the later end of his life, he started making some calls, and so the calls kind of made God kind of say that, you know what, I promised David I was not going to remove his seed from being king forever, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide this kingdom. I'm going to tear it apart, right? You are still going to be king, but you are just going to be king over a limited portion of Israel. So, but I'm not going to do it in your generation. I'm going to do it after you have left, after you've died. Right? So Solomon died and his son became king. And so this is what happened. Someone rebelled against the son of Solomon, and so Israel got divided, right? So that means that 10 people took his side and became one, right? And 2 people now became one, which is the tribe of Benjamin and Judah, right? So that's basically what it means. So what it now means is that 10 other tribes became what is now known as Israel. And because they mixed with Gentiles, which Gentiles means that people that were not necessarily Israelites, right? So they began to be called Samaritans. And from there, you will read from the book, you will read Jeremiah, you will read Ezekiel, you will read all of the prophets, started to say that, you know what, the people that God is now choosing is the Jews, that God has a covenant with the Jews, that God is honoring of the Jews, and the Jews began to treat others, the remaining 10 tribes of their father's son, as separate people. And I think so many more about how that the Jews treated them. It was more about what God was saying. You know, God would like say to Israel, what will I say to Isaiah, that I have a remnant in Judah, right? That Judah shall be on the throne, that this rod of command shall not leave Judah until Shiloh comes. And God will say beautiful things about Judah, that how he's going to collect them, how that the law was given to them, how that it's going to bless them, and so many things like that God said about these people. And think about it. You know, the book of Peter even says to us that people that were not Jews they were not part of the commonwealth of Israel. They did not belong to the covenant, they did not belong to the mercies of God and stuff like that. Now think about it, guys. Like, I'm born. I did not choose to be a Samaritan. I was just given birth to. And suddenly I'm a second-class citizen. Hey, God, let's scatter this thing and start again. Alright? Because I'm not any different than the person I was given birth to as a Jew. How is this guy, just by birth, better than me? How? Now, if it was like we both were given birth to equally, then we worked our way to becoming Jews and Samaritans, then it's different. But how he really does not feel like God, it just doesn't feel right. And so think about this woman in the book of John chapter 4 as being maybe like a Nigerian, or maybe whatever thing that you want to consider, right? Because she was born like a second-class citizen, not by what she did, but by the reason of birth. She hadn't even done anything, just by being given birth, she was a Samaritan. And maybe just like the same way you think about being a Nigerian, and I think about being a Nigerian. You know what becomes our life ambition of traveling out is what someone else is by reason of birth. You know, some people will kill, maybe some of us were killed for just like a citizen, like a British citizenship. But someone is born British, and just by birth, no better, just by birth. And so, and maybe in this situation, I really ask myself that what does a really good God has to say about all of this? Because I really think that the least you can do is understand what really is up to and how we can apply it to our lives, right? And maybe you think that's the worst that this woman has ever been through. Then I can say to you that this woman will tell you something is that, you know what, guys, although there are things in life that has happened because I make mistakes, but I think the major part of it and what is the most critical part of it is that there are some things that happen to me because of my choices. You know what, I was born a Samaritan, but I also married 7 times. And even if I was born a Jew, the mistake I've made in my life is enough to be cut short of any good thing. Right? And maybe that's what you feel like this morning. I feel like today God really has a message for you, and God really actually sent me here. Right? I don't know what you are passing through, but maybe that is like your story, maybe that is like my story, right? That we are born into this space where there is nothing we could have done about it, and we feel like, you know, we are short-sighted and stuff like that. Think about it really. Think about Otedola, think about Bill Gates, think about Dangote, and you kind of feel like, you know what, I don't think their children are any better than me. I don't even think this person that is CEO of my company, I don't think he's really better than me. I don't think he has a better knowledge of this company. I think really the reason why it's there is because his dad has money or his parent has money, and certainly it's there. And I know this conversation is what Christians don't like to talk about, because they like to say, you know what, I'm not envious, I am trusting. But truth is, in the core of your room, you know this, that you are like God. Kama Maro Kama Jali, you know that I'm better. It happens everywhere, right? See someone preaching and you are like, God, legit, no lies, no lies. Maybe you are even looking at and listening at me and you are like, God, no lies, no lies. This guy, I preach better than this guy. Like, Kama Paro, no, like, legit, I preach way better than this guy. And but you just think that maybe the only guy this guy has that he has a phone, and maybe you think about that maybe it was leader in your campus, and maybe that because he left on campus, then maybe he has audience, then maybe he wants to do what he's doing because maybe he was leader on campus, and maybe because you were not, or maybe you think so many things about that. But welcome to Samaria. If you are anywhere close to what I described, welcome to Samaria. we are all like this woman. And like legit, sometimes like what I said, the last part I said that maybe someone preaching with the mic and I'm maybe feeling like, you know what, I think I can preach than this guy, right? I think I can quote scriptures, I think I can maybe lead, right? Sometimes that's legit, no lies, that's me so many times. I don't know, but sometimes I walk into a church and I see what is happening. I'm like, you know what, I think this should be worked about. I think this can be better. I think things should be worked in. But I think if I have what this guy has, right, I think I will make better with what he has and what he's doing. We all get there, right? And when we think about it, like his dad is a pastor, right? Has a church doing well. Then he became a pastor after his dad died. I will give me elevation church after 740. I will do wonders, right? But yeah, or you never really can see. But if we ever feel like that, I think we can all identify with this woman from Samaria. And so my question this morning that I want to ask, and maybe that we are going to be discovering together, is simple. What does the real God has to say about all of this, right? Because what does the real God has to say about all of this? Because I look at this woman and I really think there's a profound story about her that is really big to us in our days and in our time. So are you ready? What does the real God has to say about injustice, unfairness that happens to life? How that I'm born a Samaritan, and now that even how can the good God even help me with the mistakes I've made? You know what? I think the first thing the good God will say to you is that don't give up, right? Let me reframe it, right? I have 3 points for you. One is that living in hope. The second thing is living through hope. The last one is living by hope, right? Okay, let's say it again. Living in hope, living through hope, and living from hope, right? 3 things that we see. The first thing is that, you know what I think so many times? I think so many times in John chapter 4, the story really is a story about a woman that was born a Samaritan. But you know what? This woman went to the well to meet Jesus. I started last week, right? And then she met Jesus at the well. And I really think about it that so many of us, so many times, after being born a Samaritan, what we will have done with our life is to give up. Come on, guys. I don't know what you are passing through, but I feel like this really is a word for all of us. That I don't know what your life is at the moment. I don't know what you are passing through at the moment, but I know that the best thing you can do with it, and what Jesus will say to us to do with it, is not to give up with our lives. Because I really think of this woman, and so many times I can think of myself in that way. Maybe you can think of yourself in that way. That what you will have done is that you will have sat down and have said that, you know what, we are all born a Samaritan. There's nothing we can do with our life. Maybe we should just die tomorrow. That was not so true about this woman. This woman woke up every day, went to the well to fetch water. If you are fetching water, then why are you fetching water? Because you don't want to die. Then this woman believes that she should still be alive, and she believes that she should also live on. And I legit feel like, I know maybe sometimes we get depressed, maybe sometimes maybe people get suicidal, but you know what? Killing yourself is not a solution, right? And guilting is not a solution. Because really think about it, if this woman has killed herself, she would not have been to the well, and she would not have met Jesus. And that very same moment that she met Jesus, her life changed. So really, guys, I don't know what you are passing through. Maybe you feel right now that you are being cheated on. You feel right now that things have happened to you that were unjust, right? Maybe you think that someone broke up with you and there were things that you could not control. You gave your very best. You showed up at your job, you work, and maybe your company is even crumbling, your business is crumbling, not because you made any mistake, but because your partner misbehaved. Right? And we're like, no, I'm a better businessman. Like, I can be a better person than all of that I am. My relationship is failing not because I messed up, but because I was just dated the wrong person. I think really we can identify with this woman that being in a mess because of what you did not do. Like, I legit did not do anything. I'm at home now as a student, not because I was the one that started ASU strike. ASU is just on strike, and my life seems to be wasted. And I don't know whatsoever you are passing through, being in a relationship or being anything. I think the first thing Jesus will say to us is this: giving up is not the way, right? This woman woke up every time and went to the well. And you know, in the well, I found one place in the well that is funny. Jesus was saying to this woman that, you know what, I can give you waters, and this woman says, give me the waters of life that I will not taste again. I'm like, you should tell Jesus, I don't want water, I want to die early, right? Because your life seems messed up. But this woman will teach us a lesson that, you know what, that life seems messed up today does not mean there's no a better hope for tomorrow. And I don't know what you are passing through, but let this ring in your heart that there's a better hope for tomorrow, right? And this is the second thing that we say that this woman teaches us, and maybe Jesus will say to us that we should do, is that live with hope, live through hope, right? I don't know what you are, but this is what I believe, and I really believe in my heart, is that take what you have and grow it. Take what you have and do it. You were born a Samaritan. There's nothing you want to do about it. You can't change it, right? But there's the only thing that can happen is that you can make something out of your life. You can decide to keep going to the well every day, and you can decide to meet Jesus. Because I really think in this moment, these are very practical truths. And I'm legit running out of time already, right? But so if I legit can run on it thought, I will just round off with this, right? So maybe hopefully I'm going to get to do the next one next week. But I remember being a student, and I've said that a lot actually, right? I remember being a student, and I I passed out of secondary school 2012, and I wrote jam at once and I did not pass, right? Because of crazy reasons, because crazy reasons I shall failed, right? So then the next time again I took jam, but this time around my dad decided that, you know what, add pre-degree to what you have been doing. So I did pre-degree, and I was like top. I think I was the best student in my department. I did psychology then, or maybe top three. So you would have thought I would have gotten a psychology course, like, but no, I did not get it. I got guidance and counseling, and so because I so much did not like the course, and because so many things have been said about the course, truth is this: from my honor level to my 400 levels, I attended less than 40% of the classes. And maybe you are a student and you are behaving like me. I've been there. I can tell you that it was not really pay, right? And so, did I get to be a very good grade? Yes, I did with a very good grade. Maybe, so, truth is legit. Maybe I will say this, that I'm the top 5 students in my department that graduated in 2018, right? So, yeah, but that is not where I'm going really, guys. So I remember like having to do guidance and counseling. Then I had to do guidance and counseling 4 years through school, then leaving school. Well, I kind of legit knew that I did not want to teach when I leave school. I did not really feel like teaching would be my job, right? So, what do you do with your life? I was giving guidance and counseling. And I remember right from the days, maybe having good counselors in my life, having good people in my life, they always kept telling me that, you know what, you can do it and stuff like that. So I remember leaving school, going for NYC and trying to work on myself, right? I think I had like 3 certificates, like maybe one HRM, one PMP and one NIM kind of stuff. And I remember, so the first job I took, the first job I went for an interview from, just I remember going there and I was literally begging the man. I was almost saying to the man, hey, from just like, if you don't understand me, but just because for the love of God, just give me this job. And the man turned me down, and I remember walking out of that place and I felt so bad. But then I told myself this, that, you know what, maybe I can really work on myself better than I did, right? And I remember going back home and I started taking courses and took like a whole lot of courses and stuff like that. Then I re-strategized and rewrote my CV, right? Then the first part of my CV was like the professional pro summary. You know, what I told myself when I wanted to do GOG is that I was going to be very practical with you, right? So allow me to be as even as I ran off, right? So I remember that, you know, so what I did was that the first part of my CV, I did not get it in a day. It was like maybe like after 3 writings that maybe I got it, what I'm saying to you, right? The first part of my CV was like a professional summary, right? The second part of my CV was professional certificates and qualifications, right? Not even education, because my education is guidance and counseling. Then maybe that's not what so much I want, because I wanted to do a management job. Nobody will give that for maybe guidance and counseling, quote and unquote, right? So that had to go to the part. So I had to make something up for the education part. So I remember writing NIN, taking professional courses on Coursera, taking some courses at the University of Michigan, IBM data analytics, and maybe stuff like that, right? So after that, then I remember the first 2 job experience that I wrote was, I remember having to work a job. So truth is this legit real life story. The job I worked, my stipend at the end of the month was 10,000 naira. But truth is this: nobody will employ you without working experience in Nigeria, alright? So it's something that you cannot fight. So I don't know why so many times we want to fight things that we cannot fight, right? You cannot fight it. So what do? Get the experience, right? Get the experience. It's as simple as that. What will you cost you to get the experience? Work for 10,000 naira a month. Work it. Work for free. Work it. Do what you have to do, right? And I remember the first job I wrote there was that I did a pastoral and admin intern. My pay was like a 10,000 naira every week, every month. You know what, guys? My TFL was 9,000 naira and my stipend was 1,000. So out of the 10,000 naira, I had nothing really to take. But I needed the experience, because nobody will give you a job without an experience, right? So I worked the experience. I remember around that time I worked again with a friend. We started a business and stuff like that. So I wrote that one to creative director. And by the next time I applied for that very same job that I told you I got a client for, I got the job this time around. right? And really, this is what I will say to you. I don't know what you are passing through, but I really hope that you can hear the sound of hope in what you are passing through. That if you can, two things you can do. You can sit down in your room and complain about tomorrow. You can complain about how Nigeria is bad. You can complain about how that your course you did is not good. You can complain about how HASU is on strike. You can complain about a lot of things. This one could have complained about being a Samaritan, but you know what she did also? She went to the well, and by going to the well, she met Jesus. I don't know what you are passing through, but your own is not the worst. Do you have to take professional examinations? Take it. Do you have to do PGD? Take it. Recently, I was doing a survey of scholarship and I discovered that there are some schools in the UK that even take a third class. I learned that there are some schools in the UK that take HND graduates, but here you are complaining about how that you want to travel out, but because you went to poly, or complaining about how that you don't have a job because you did third class. Why don't you try something else? Right? If what we have to do is that we have to do a postgraduate, then let's take it, guys. Let's take it. But truth is, don't ever sit in a situation because you think you're a Samaritan. I think this woman teaches us a very big lesson that no matter what you are given in life, take it and work on it. Take it and work on it. Take it and work on it, and God is going to bless it. And I really think this woman teaches us something very strong. So I'm almost legit done, but I will run off for this story because I really believe God impressed in my heart, right? I remember speaking to you about the job I'm working on, but truth is this: there are some things in our life that we can afford to take now, that we cannot afford to take in the next 2 years. There are some efforts that we can make in our life now that we cannot afford to make in the next 5 years again. This is the time that you can put those efforts in. I happen to live with my sister, and so I'm working a job, very, very, very tight schedule. I call it very crazy schedule. And she works a job also very crazy schedule. And this is the truth about it, is that sometimes in like 3 days we might not even get to see. Sometimes I work a night shift, so that means I leave home 7 because I have to resume 8. Then I leave home again by 6. I leave work by 6, then I get home like 7. So when I get home, I sleep straight. Like I'm saying, job. It's not like the best job so far, but at least now I'm doing something. Maybe I will leave at some point, right? Maybe very soon, but I don't know. But yeah, but I get home 7, then I go straight to my room to sleep, right? Then she works a shift for like 10 to 7 a.m., 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So do you know what that means, guys? What that means is that by the time I wake up for like say 12 because I sleep like 8, right? She has already left home. And by the time she comes back 7:30 or 8, I have already left home by 7 to go to work. So literally sometimes we can spend 3 days that we will not see. And so if it now happens that our days off does not fall on my day off, then that means that even the days that we get to see, I'm like waking up, she is like, oh, she got back. I'm like, I'm going to work. She get this kind of stuff when I'm on a shift. So what that means is that in a week we literally may not have that much time to talk. But you know what, guys? This is what I think really. I think I can do this job now. But do you know when I can't do this job? I can't do this job when I'm married. I can't do this job when I have a child. She can't do that job when she's married. She cannot do this kind of a job when she has a job. A job that she will have to go. Her husband will have to go, and nobody will be at home. Nobody will have time to take care of the children. She cannot do it. I cannot do it. And truth is this: nobody gives you a job because you are married. Nobody gives you a job because you have children. People only gives you a job because you are qualified for it, because you have experience and you have skills in it. So this is what it means. It means that if I don't want to do that kind of a job in the next 3 years, then I have to work my experiences. I have to work my skills today. So that in the next 3 years, when I'm applying for another job with a lesser time work and a better pay, I will be qualified to get it, because nobody will give me a job that I'm not qualified for. And maybe this is a story that I feel like I need to say to you, and maybe I believe Jesus is saying to all of us, right? That don't settle for where you are. Walk your way. Walk your way. God is blessing us, right? We are believers, but walk your way. So legit, guys. I don't know, what will it cost you to take a job that where you are? Maybe you want a 70,000 naira job, but really, guys, do you really need a 70,000 naira? You are living with your brother, maybe you are living with your family, you are living with your roommates, and maybe your food stuff that you guys contribute is like a 15,000-20,000 naira. Take your TIFE 10,000 naira out of it, that's like a 30,000 naira. You still have like maybe like 30 or 40,000 naira after your pay. Why are you necessarily looking for a big job for like if you want 50,000 naira that we never get by the way? Put in goes, right? Can we all start from where we are and walk our way, right? And maybe not stop complaining so much about being a Samaritan, but go out to the well and meet Jesus. I really believe this spoke to you, and I think this blessed you, right? Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for speaking. Thank you for blessing. And God, we ask that God, the only thing, the best I can do, God, is to speak. But only you can take this and multiply it into the heart of men and can bless it. God bless this and increase everyone. Do what only you can do, Jesus, and have your way. Be sick ahead because you called us to do this also. We thank you for all of that in Jesus' name. And everyone said, Amen. Amen. So I'm done already, 34 minutes. Well, yes, so. But if you are here, I don't know how you got to listen to this. Maybe your friend just shared this with you, share the link. Because I will encourage you, if you listen to this and this bless you, share it, right? I'm not saying make me popular, I'm saying help me to help others, right? If this helped you, help me to help someone else. I might not be able to reach everybody, right? Because I have a limited influence. But you have someone that you can reach that I cannot reach. And wherever you're listening to this from, please share the link. Let someone else also be helped, because you know what? Great is the word. No, the Lord gave the word, but great is the company of those that published it. And I don't know where, if you are that person and you are listening to this from wherever you are listening to this, and you know that you have not given your life to Jesus, you know what? All that we are talking about and how that, you know what, that we can be a Samaritan and we can accept it, you know what, and God can prosper us. All of that is only possible because we are talking from the standpoint that we are believers. Maybe this is what you did not hear. I was speaking about how that we can work a job and all of that. You can only work that job if you have given, if Jesus is empowering you, because at the end of the day, you will need power to make it happen. At some point, you will get tired, you will get wearied, you will need strength to wake up one more day to go to work. You will need strength to wake up one more day to work on your relationship. You will need strength one more day to wake up to go to your class. And where you can get that strength is through Jesus. There's no other way, right? So I will invite you this morning that if you have never given your life to Jesus, or if you have never been given your life to Jesus, so I will invite you to say one simple prayer with me. And truth is, if any of us are believers and we are righteous, it's not because of anything we've done, it's because of our trust and faith in Jesus. So wherever you are, I will invite you to put your hands on your chest and let's say this prayer together. Have you done that? Let's go. Dear God, thank you for loving me, and thank you for sending your son, Jesus, to die for for my sin. I believe in my heart, God, that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and that God, you raised him from the dead. And by being risen from the dead, I am justified. Thank you, because now I am your son. Now I have the Holy Ghost within me. Help me to live right. Help me to live by your standard. And God, one day I will be with you in heaven. In Jesus' name. And everyone said, Amen. If you said that prayer, welcome home. Welcome to be a son of God. I'm rounding off already. I had a beautiful time. I hope you had also. 36 minutes. It's going to get to 30. I'm still working on myself, working on my communication and everything. But it's going to get better, I promise you. Thank you so much for listening again. I'm Adepo Jibolaji. God bless you. Do have a fruitful weekend and a wonderful day. I love you.